Can you believe we're already right here at this? I just looked down. We're at 46 minutes.
Oh, wow. So you were the whole episode. I still have like 2 more questions.
We'll do the questions. And we'll,
all right,
we'll
so
try.
I guess it's one is like, what would be a holy grail or something that slipped through your fingers that you would love to have had here?
Oh man, that's been several things. We've seen these things come up. We know from the get-go when we see game used anything,
Right.
jerseys, bats, those things are going to fetch 6 figures.
Don't trust if it's from
sometimes
Eli
better.
Manning. Don't trust that.
Unless Eli Manning is in there.
Recently Jackie Robinson's Rookie of the Year plaque came up and it got, I don't know, several $100,000 that it generated, and we wanted it to come home. There have been a couple of other marquee pieces. There was a Rube Foster pocket watch that recently came up. We thought we might have a chance to get it, and we missed out on that. But there are certainly those trinkets that are out there. We have to kind of be very particular, strategic at the things that we go for, because we know game-worn jersey, as Satchel's game-worn Cleveland Indian jersey several years went for $140,000. So we knew we didn't have a chance to get those kinds of pieces, but they're in the hands of private collectors, and hopefully we can identify where they are and maybe talk them into at least allowing it to be displayed here.
Right.
It can still remain in their possession, but let the world get to see it.
I mean, it's
the ECL sweater
that
over in the
is
corner.
Beautiful.
It is a gorgeous sweater.
The stitching
Yes.
on it, I did a whole 360
and the
around
old
it.
shawl collar sweaters are very popular now. The kids love the shawl collar sweaters,
Right.
but it goes back to what we're saying now. It ain't new. That was 1924 that sweater came from,
Right.
and the ECL stands for the Eastern Colored League. So when Rube Foster formed the Negro Leagues, he formed the Negro National League in 1920. A guy named Ed Bolden would form a rival league known as the Eastern Colored League. 1923 and 1924, your very first Negro League World Series, Kansas City Monarchs versus the Hilldale Daisies out of Darby, Pennsylvania. Well, that sweater can be seen in that first World Series picture, the great panoramic-looking photograph that we display there of the two teams on the field for opening day here in Kansas City. The sweater was donated to the museum by former San Diego Padres owner John Morris. Yeah, old Buck and I talked Mr. Morris into letting us bring that piece home, and he was so generous in allowing us to do so. He has been a tremendous benefactor to the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. Many of the Kadir Nelson paintings that you saw throughout the museum are pieces that Mr. Morris purchased and then donated to the Negro Leagues Museum. That sweater was in his private collection, but it also gives you an indication of who we're competing against.
Right.
Yeah, John
They
Morris.
own teams. The people who
Exactly.
own
And you
teams.
don't just own a team. You don't just own a Major League Baseball team, as we see now as the bidding continues on the Florida Marlins. And we're talking about into the billions on this thing. So, but the other interesting collection, the Geddy Lee collection.
That's the ball
The
collection.
autograph
And I
balls.
don't know
if John said earlier, he was just like, well, I hope someday to have something like this in my house.
And
Not
I
that,
and I don't know if the people who are listening know who Geddy Lee is.
Mm-hmm.
Geddy Lee, of course, is the lead singer and bass guitarist for the legendary Hall of Fame rock group Rush. And he's a
Wait, hold on. Hold on. This autograph baseball collection came from the
Geddy Lee.
guitar player from Rush?
from Rush.
who's Canadian, and
Canadian.
remember, it was the Negro Leagues that went up to Canada
Yeah.
first, so in some ways it's a full circle.
And it's a great story behind the
So,
collection
now,
because
he had to have introduced this collection to you. Did he contact you
well,
guys?
it's a great story because Rush was playing a concert here several years ago, and Geddy has a good friend that lives here who says, I'm going to take you by to see the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. Well, like most people who come here, he fell in love with the museum. You can see him at Blue Jay games all the time. So he fell in love with the museum. Now, unbeknownst to us, he is a huge sports memorabilia collector. He's got some amazing stuff, some Shoeless Joe Jackson stuff, and some other amazing things in his collection.
He has his
well,
shoes.
Well, what happened was this collection of single-signed Negro League player autographed baseballs come up in an auction. He decides that he would bid on them with the intent of donating them back to the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. He wins the bid. His office calls and says, Geddy has a few baseballs he'd like to donate. Would you all like to have them? Well, naturally we say yes, but we're thinking 3 or 4 that he might have picked up somewhere. Turned out to be 200. He has since donated an additional lot of 200, now giving the Negro Leagues Museum one of the largest collection of single-signed Negro League player autographed baseballs anywhere in the world. And as you mentioned, it's all due to the benevolence of one Geddy Lee, a white Canadian rocker. It just goes to show that this story has no boundaries, it has no limit, it touches virtually everyone who experiences it. You've got Hall of Famers in those cases. You got guys who are cup of coffee guys in the Negro Leagues, but they're all important.
It was where the first ball we walked up, he goes, "Oh, that's weird. It's signed on the bridge," and it was the Dandridge ball. You know how
Yeah.
he signed it up
Yes.
on the curb, so
Yes.
it goes
Yeah.
around the horn.
Yeah.
I was like, that's
Yeah.
actually one of the best players.
Yeah, and then you got novelty names like that one of the great country western singer, Charlie Pride.
I did see that one. In fact, I just thought it was a coincidence.
Yeah, a lot of people they don't know that Charlie Pride played in the Negro Leagues. Charlie Pride was an outstanding pitcher.
Wait. Charlie Pride?
Charlie
That's
Pride.
what I'm saying.
Wait,
I said-
Charlie Pride?
By the way,
Charlie
that was the first ball I saw was Charlie Pride. And I
Wait. I
Kiss
thought,
an angel, good morning, Charlie Pride. Yes.
oh, okay.
And
We're on the
so-
same page now.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. A lot of people didn't know. And Charlie was a good pitcher in the Negro Leagues who made it into the Yankees organization before he hurt his arm. And after hurting his arm is when he fell back on a pioneering country western music career. Some 72 million albums sold later. We should all have a fallback career like Charlie Pride.
Man.
Wow, yeah. Wow, I mean, it's like, it's also, I gotta tell you guys, we're sitting here, it's like, we have seen the museum and now talking, we're learning about what we just saw. It's blowing our minds on top of blowing our minds. It's crazy.